Hi you guys, welcome to our California farm. Today we are going to talk about things we learned when raising chickens. And I urge you to watch this video to the end, because no one will give you the information that I'm going to give you. Here is the deal. We're going to talk about things that may go wrong while raising chickens. And my husband is a veterinary doctor. So for every chick that met its early demise, he actually did a professional necropsy. We know exactly what went wrong. And so we can tell you how to avoid certain things that you don't even think about. You see, it is expected when you buy chickens that about 10% of them won't survive. And people don't even think, to figure out what happened. I mean, this is expected, right? 10% won't survive. So we want to make sure that you actually know about things that are preventable. And let's start with the chicks that are being shipped. Typically, a shipping company promises about 48 hours delivery. Well, don't always trust a shipping company. For us, it took actually 72 hours for delivery. And then we were very lucky that the USPS office called us in the morning and said, your chickens are here, come pick them up. What if we were not available? What if we were in the office working? They would have stayed in the USPS office without food and water for another, say, 8-10 hours. So you need to have realistic expectations about chicks that are being shipped. And when they arrive, there's also an expectation that one or two of them may be already dead. And that's what happened to us. One of the chicks was already dead on arrival. Now, the first thing you need to do when your chicks arrive, you need to dip their beaks into the water so that they have a drink. They can travel for about 48 hours without food and water because just before they hatch, they consume everything that is left within the egg. And that keeps them going for 48 hours. Because not all of the chicks in the same family hatch at the same time. And mother hen would sit on the eggs until everybody is hatched. So those chicks that hatch first will have to wait for their brothers and sisters to hatch for about 24-48 hours. And that's what that content of the egg gives them, that time to wait until their mother can get up, go outside, take them outside, show them how to find food. So, but 72 hours is already a lot. But we were lucky that only one chicken died on arrival out of 30. But if you say really want to have 10 chickens, I strongly suggest buying a couple more because you can't rely on a shipping company. Then within 24 hours, 3 more chicks died. And that's when we started to do necropsies, because with the first chicken, there's nothing we could have done. Even if we did a necropsy, what would we change? Nothing. But with the chicks that were already in our possession, we wanted to know what we did wrong potentially and what things can be avoided. So regarding those first 3 chickens that were dead, the first 2 chickens had nothing in their stomachs, like nothing at all. No water, no food. So we think that when they arrived, they were not survivors already, because they didn't eat, they were not interested in food or drink at all. Maybe if we insisted, if we put their beaks into the water, maybe they would start eating. But it's really hard when you get 29 chicks to make sure that you get all 29 of them to the water, because they all look the same. Well, at least for us, look at them, they're all the same breed, they all look the same. But I think we did introduce the majority of the chicks to the water. So that's why the majority of them survived. And this is very important. Now, what was interesting about the third chick, had a full stomach of sand. You see, it's important for chickens to have sand with their food because sand and small stones help their digestion. So when they arrived, we had a small bowl of sand for them. Now this silly chick ate only sand and nothing else. He was so hungry, he just cared about putting something in his stomach. So my advice is, don't give chickens sand within 24, maybe even 48 hours upon arrival. Until they come down, they know where the food and water is, to avoid situations like that. Unfortunately, chicks are that silly. And this little guy, he just ate sand. What could we do about that? That's the only way to prevent it. Just wait a little bit to give them the sand. Then a couple weeks went by very well. And after that, we found another chick dead. They were already big chicks. Not as big as right now. Here you can see them at about 1 month old. But they were decent size. When my husband did necropsy on that chicken, we found out that his back was broken. And this is very important, especially for raising meat chickens, because they are engineered in such a way that their meat mass grows very fast, but their bones cannot catch up. They're very fragile. And chicks are clumsy. When they're fighting for food, they can step over each other. So we think a bigger chick just stepped over this one, on the back, and broke the backbone. You also need to tell your kids, if they want to handle chicks, especially meat chickens, they'll have to be very careful because their bones are very fragile. And with that, my advice is, even if you have not that many chickens, have several spots for them where they can have water and food. Because in that way, they're not fighting for food and water. They're not stepping over each other. So you minimize the possibility of physical injuries. We also have one hen that had it's about a broken leg potentially. It didn't walk well, but it is better now. But again, I think someone stepped on her, and she has this issue. She's limping. So as I said, you can see here we have 2 bottles of water. I'm not sure if you can see it. Let me show you. Yeah, we have 2 bottles of water and a couple of feeding stations here for the chickens. Also, on the good side of things, chickens actually love eating what you eat, and that's what we learned. They love watermelon, especially on hot summer days. If you have a watermelon that you store in the fridge and you eat with your family from the fridge, chickens would love that because it gives them food and water and cools them down. In the beginning, when you just get your chicks, you know you need to have this hot light to warm them up. So the first couple of weeks, they can do without this heating. But when they grow older, they actually don't like heat that much. And here in California, it can get very hot. So they really suffered a lot when it was like 100 and above degrees outside. So in addition to this cold watermelon, what we did to help them survive the heat wave, we would take this 1-gallon water bottles, empty water bottles, put water in it, and then freeze them. And then put those water bottles in the chicken coop. And chicks would sit next to them, on top of them, and that's how they survived the heat wave. But just put the bottle flat down, not standing up, so that you maximize the space that the chicken can be next to it. Chickens also like to eat things from your garden. And what we do is we separate tops and bottoms, as I say. We take the bottoms, like radishes and beetroot, and chickens love the tops. They love the leaves of radishes. They love the leaves of beetroot. So this is kind of a zero waste operation. We also found out that they love corn cobs. When you finish eating your corn on the cob and you have some little corn matter left in it, give it to the chickens. They just love picking the remaining stuff out of the corn. And finally, we also figured out that they like eating meat. They are truly dinosaurs. They are descendants of dinosaurs. Because we were making soups, like I have, the video on our YouTube channel about making Russian borscht soup. You would separate meat from bones, from fatty tissue, connecting tissue. You would put the meat in the soup, and you typically throw away the fatty tissue, connecting tissue. But this time, we gave it to the chickens. They loved it. They devoured it completely. So again, it's a zero waste operation, having chickens. So don't just give them chicken food that is sold in the store. They love variety of food, and you can experiment with what they like, with what they don't. It's funny that they don't like the melons. They love watermelons, but they never actually ate the melons when they give them the rings the same way that we gave them watermelons. Go figure. So these are the things that we learned raising chickens, and I hope this will help you in your journey raising chickens. It is really a great experiment to do with kids and involve them in feeding them, in helping cleaning the water and the coop and so on and so forth. You can actually also build this chicken coop, which we did ourselves, with your kids. It's an easy project, and we have a video on our YouTube channel how to do that. So we had a great time raising the chicks. If you have any questions, if I didn't mention things in this video, feel free to leave comments, and we'll be happy to answer and share our experiences. And I hope you'll have the same great journey that we did. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe and ring a bell so that you don't miss any future content. Have a nice day. Bye.